Blessings, Starshine. This is Smadar from Song of Stones, and I'm here with some very special Shungite stones in all shapes and sizes and forms. I've been wanting to share this with you for a while. Shungite is probably a stone. It's quite well known now, so it's probably a stone you've probably heard of. But I wanted to get into a little bit about the different options available in Shungite and give you some of my insights and some more information in case you don't know everything there is to know about the Shungite. And if you're a sensitive soul like me, and most of the crystal people are so sensitive, I think that's one of the reasons we're so drawn to crystals and stones, because of our deep sensitivities. So Shungite, I want to tell you my story about Shungite. I discovered Shungite years before it became popular. I was at a little local show, a rock show, and I was completely drawn to the stone. I just kept coming back around and back around to the stone, and it was just pulling me. Not just me, a lot of people were drawn to this stone. But I just had to have one, and the person who was selling them was not a wholesaler. This is how much I wanted this stone. I paid a lot of money for this one stone, and it was not offered wholesale by this person at the time. And it was way before anybody had heard of it, and it wasn't so easily available. But I took this stone home, and it was a sphere, and I held the sphere in my hand, and I felt this vortex energy just going right through me, and powerful, powerful. It was like it was cleansing my whole energetic being. And if you know what Shungite is, I should start with that. But that was my experience with it. Now I'm going to tell you a little bit about what Shungite is. It's a form of carbon, but a very specific form. It's the way the atoms are patterned in this stone is what makes it very special. And it's a highly, highly concentrated form of carbon. And depending on which type you get, that'll make a difference about how much carbon it is. For instance, the regular Shungite, the typical Shungite, and I'm not going to touch it because my hands will be completely black. So this is your typical Shungite, and it's not as highly concentrated as the elite Shungite or noble Shungite, and I'll show you an example of that in these pendants. I didn't bring one of the raw stones that are not set, but you get an idea. Special. Okay, so Shungite is a type of carbon, and and I always tell people to look at the physical properties of the crystals to get an idea of what the metaphysical properties are. The physical properties of a stone can really tell us a lot about its magic just by exploring, and it's the same with any type of energetic medicine. So with Shungite, Shungite's carbon, and carbon is a natural filter. If you think of your Brita or your, sometimes they put them in masks, which we're hearing a lot about right now, which I'll get into in a moment, but carbon is a natural filter. So if you think about that, what Shungite does is it's a natural filter for any harsh chemicals, any EMFs, and especially around water. People put Shungite in their water for their plants, for their drinking, for their pools. It's incredible how Shungite cleans up that water. I personally don't put Shungite right inside my water. I could and I would. I just don't feel it's necessary because I use Shungite near my water. Always. I always have Shungite nearby. And I feel that in and of itself can do an amazing job of clearing and energizing your water. So, so that's basically the essence of Shungite. And for sensitive souls, especially those of us who have heightened sensitivities to chemicals or EMFs, Shungite can be a lifesaver. I never leave the house without my Shungite. I wear Shungite as a pendant. I've got a few here. I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you all these. I'm going to get a little closer. This is Noble Shungite, and I love Noble Shungite. I love any Shungite, but Noble Shungite is what I wear when I leave the house, and I never leave the house without it, even though at this point I probably don't need it any longer, because the way it works with crystals is that they are a reflection for us. They show us, they model for us an energy and a vibration. And if we're open enough, what we can do, and if we're aware enough, what we can do is emulate that energy, is call that energy up in our own bodies. And then we don't need the crystal any longer. Then what's happened is the crystal has shown us how to do it. It's kind of like, you know, if you want to feed somebody for a night, you give them a fish, but if you, well, a vegetable. I'll say a vegetable because I'm vegetarian. And if you want them to eat every night, you show them how to grow their own vegetables. And that's kind of the difference between using the crystal's energy to feed us each time, or letting them show us how to do it ourselves. I'll get into that topic more as the weeks go on, but I just want to focus on Shungite before my time runs out. So those are the Noble Shungite pendants, and these are a sensitive soul's saving grace. And they come in all kinds of, each one is different because each stone is different, and they're just hand set in silver. So that is those. And if you want something simpler and less expensive, there's these Shungite donuts, which you can use around your neck with a cord. And the donut is an amazing shape. It's a torus shape. It's quite spectacular. And then I've also got these cell phone buttons, and you can just pull that off and stick it onto your cell phone. And these are great. And tumbled stones are wonderful as well to keep in your pockets or your purse or your bra, which is where I keep all my crystals. And these particular tumbles I want to show you because they're from Madagascar. A lot of the polished stones with Shungite come from, all the Shungite comes from Russia because it's the only place you can get it. But what happens is people send the Shungite overseas and get them formed and shaped there. So these ones are from Madagascar, and they have a gorgeous energy. When I saw these, I flipped for them. I keep 3 of these by my water. I love these. And if you really want something special, these are very rare to find, but these are naturally tumbled by the river where they come from. And you don't get these very often, but they are just picked up after being naturally tumbled, and they are magnificent. Very rare to find. These would be like probably my first choice if I wanted a tumbled. But they're big, so if you need something smaller, these tumbles are easy to carry. And the sphere is the shape that I first connected with, and I feel has the most amazing, how do I say it? The most amazing